Sure. We triple stitch.
You have 68 wins. You cannot 69 Nina.
I am that reminder that no matter how far you get in life, there's going to be someone like me, born with much more than you do, who can cash in and take it all away at any moment.
Now, you know what? Now, I don't know who you've been talking to, but it's obvious that you hadn't talked to me. I pull rank around here, and everybody better remember that.
Ooh, follow the white rabbit.
The mask has been removed, but I tell you what, he's still the same pro wrestler, whether he's wearing a mask or not.
You can call this the New World Order of Wrestling, brother.
Whoa!
We got a mom in the front row who taught her daughter how to suck dick.
None of you can handle Tekla. None of you can handle the Sisters of Sin. And none of you silly bitches can handle the Triangle of Madness.
Oakley has Trey. Look at the speed, the rotation, the impact.
What is going on, everybody? Welcome once again to the Saturday Shenanigans, hosted by yours truly, the Renegade JJ Williams. Hi guys. Hi guys. CM Punk drama bullshit to the side. I still consider Hangman the worst AEW champion they've had. First of all, we're going to bring in Walter Cruz.
I said that as a joke when, what's his name, did his promo Monday. And he said, I'm from a prestige university. I said he majored in Steiner, man.
We've got the Heb man, James Hebert, in the house.
I do really cool in dumb things for mutants.
Right. A lot of shit going on here. A lot of fucking crazy ass shit.
Where is Noah JD? Well, say his name and he appears, because we believe in Noah Foster.
Fuck is this intro? It is one of those things where as fans we do have these desires for what we want to see, but sometimes you can't always get what you want, and there are reasons you truly don't get what you want. I wouldn't even listen to this in Grand Theft Auto San Andreas. What the fuck is this shit? God, rapid whack. Like I said, never been a greater time to be a wrestling fan than with more companies in a more lucrative spot, in a more comfortable business spot, in a sense of mind, it seems, than ever. Again, WWE is not the only one. It is not the end-all, be-all. So let's go back to the Renegade Wrestling JJ Williams to get the official word. JJ, speak!
Make sure you tune in every week, because you never know who's going to drop in to join the shenanigans. Catboy is in the house.
Hello, my internet family. I say if you want to make them as evil as possible, make them really mad.
We have Mansfield joining the party now. What is going on, Josh?
Like I told no one when we were in Cleveland, him joining Tracy was just an unfortunate side effect of my shenanigans towards you, JJ. I know how it can get better, Noah. The panel chooses you.
Shut the fuck up, Josh.
He said that so like.
We got somebody to throw back.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Just like how you and I had lunch together the other week.
That was different.
Ladies and gentlemen, the King is here. Say his name and he appears. We believe in King A-Train. There are so many believers in Joe Hendry. The only person on this panel that doesn't believe in Joe Hendry is King A-Train. Tell the world why you do not believe in Joe Hendry.
The reason I do not believe Joe Hendry is he is Fandango 2.0 in a entrance merchant. I rest my case, Your Honor.
Hey! There's nothing wrong with being an entrance merchant. He has some of the best entrances of all time.
Teleporting into the command center, all the way from Angel Grove High, Datilla.
Oh, yeah. I went to the command center on Thursday. I went to Vasquez Rocks, which is where they filmed a lot of episodes. Somebody actually climbed to the very top of those rocks. I made it halfway. I was like, I'm not going up there. Definitely Toni Storm versus Mariah May. That's the one match I probably am looking forward to the most. I really like the story. I'm familiar with all about Eve, so if it plays out that way, I kind of know how this is gonna go.
Say goodnight, Datilla.
Good night.
James, you did say his name. So he shall appear, ladies and gentlemen, the first time on the Shenanigans. Jeff Meacham is in the motherfucking house.
Ah! Alright, we're coming in hard with the botch. Alright, fucking hell. It's good to be back. It's good to have an opportunity to talk to the crowd on a Saturday. If you want to have yourself stomach through it, you can go back and watch when the Main Event Mafia took over Impact. That's what James was talking about. So if everybody just joined us, we're talking about people sedating people, attempted murder, boys, and tips. Welcome to Saturday Shenanigans, everybody. Aren't you glad I'm back?
Welcome back, Jeff.
Cool.
Get it? Got it.
What is going on, everybody, and welcome to the weekly moderated insanity known as the Shenanigans here across the Simply Reliable Studios brand of channels. It is I, your moderator extraordinaire, the Renegade of Wrestling, JJ Williams, back in the host seat, joined by the Island of Misfit Toys. Walter Cruz is here.
What's going on, man?
Not much. What's going on with you, good sir?
Nothing. I'm just eating, so once I'm done, I'll be on camera, but I don't want to be chewing and shit on camera. That's why I went off.
No worries.
There's a reason I picked that one, though.
Figured as much. So we got Walter here. We've got one half of the Canadian connection and a man who just got done doing some hockey coverage with the Stat Boy. Nick is here. What is up, sir? You're muted, sir.
Oh, I'm
There you
muted.
go.
What the fuck? So you know what I just realized? I can't tell you guys to go fuck yourselves because you guys are not in Vegas anymore.
No, you can't.
Damn it. All right, well. We're just now what I gotta find a new shtick. God damn it.
Well,
what's going on?
While you think about it, we do have the other half of the Canadian connection as well. Because she's yours, she's mine, she's our Canadian friend, Ash.
Hi.
Hello again, Ash. How are
Canadian
you this evening?
I'm good. Nick, remind me to never, ever, 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 ever call a Zack Sabre Jr. match with you ever again.
Listen, it's not my fault. We were at a very nice brunch. The sexual tension of that brunch was astronomical. It's what did you have? Like, shit just happens. Like it just happens.
I still haven't watched it back, but I have heard stories, and I will just leave it at that.
Oh, buddy, if you only knew. Pretzel talk. We had counter talk. It was just, yeah.
Zach would be the one to turn somebody into a pretzel the way he freaking fights, though.
Well, we figured out that after the big gay brunch, we figured out what TLC actually stands for. So it's not tables and ladders and chairs. No. We figured it out that it's tables. I forgot what the L was. Tables. I forgot what the L was, but tables, L's, and countertops.
The thing is, like, you didn't even say another L word. You said another T word, and we didn't notice until after the show was over.
Oh, we didn't notice? Oh, god damn it. Well, then, I guess it'd be like tables, lounge chairs, and countertops, I guess.
Sure.
Right? You guys are all like, what the fuck are you guys talking about?
You know how Tony Storms does her promos? They get 3 hours of that, pretty much.
Oh, Jesus. It's like, oh, yeah. I don't know.
Don't worry, there was some action called, but...
Oh, there was action, all right.
Oh, my God. Yeah!
But was it wrestling action is the question.
Well, I mean, that's debatable. As Ash drinks her drink.
Mm-hmm. She is like, it is a Casa signature. She is thinking, this is a tasty beverage right now.
She was thinking something tasty though.
That's kind of an equivalent of pleading the fifth. It's like, I don't want to answer the question, but look, I have a tasty beverage.
No comment. Sometimes the best comment is no comment.
100%.
That's true. That is true.
Always said multiple. Oh, sorry.
Some comments usually get you into trouble, as we have found out recently. But that's a whole other story.
Yes, sometimes just because I say this to my workmates and other people, just because you can doesn't mean you should.
Yep.
Well, we will get into this here. Before we get really into things, let me go ahead and address the elephant in the room.
Are we doing announcements?
Not yet, Nick. Shut the fuck up. We are not going to be addressing the releases from yesterday unless you guys really want to super chat and ask about it, because we literally did an hour live stream last night, myself, Nick, Charles, and Walter discussing this. So we would rather not get too in depth about it this evening. So if you want to know our thoughts on the released WWE superstars from yesterday, go into the archives on the channels, check that video out. That is not something we are going to be addressing here this evening. However, let's start the show off with a little bit of positivity coming off that negativity. You know, this week we had quite a few call-ups. All Ego Ethan Page, Sol Ruka both joined the Raw brand this week, and we were told that Joe Hendry would be there next week. Over on SmackDown, we had the Fatal Influence. We had a teaser for Blake Monroe coming soon, and we had Ricky Saints announce that he would be there next week. On top of the fact that NXT recently lost Oba, Trick, Javon, like, there's a lot of talent that's been moving up here in recent weeks and months. And so the $1 million question when this always happens is, what's their ceiling? How successful do we think they'll be? Because in the past, primarily during the black and gold era, when Triple H was running NXT and Vince was running the main roster, Vince couldn't turn what Triple H had created into gold on the main roster. Now that it's Shawn Michaels in NXT and Triple H on the main roster and they're best of friends, what do we see happening with some of these guys and gals? Like, for me, and I'm not saying it's going to happen immediately, but for me, I definitely see Sol Ruka. I could see Sol Ruka becoming Intercontinental Champion by the end of the year. Blake Monroe, I definitely has World Championship written on her. The question is when. I could potentially see her as a Miss Money in the Bank, kind of like they did with Tiffy. On the men's side of things, my biggest concern, believe it or not, is Joe Hendry. Now, we've seen he can be a TNA World Champion. We've seen he can be an NXT World Champion. But do they have the faith to make him a WWE Champion or a World Heavyweight Champion? Or is his ceiling going to be ICUS? And on top of that, we've already got R-Truth. Now we've got Danhausen. Do we need another comedic character? You know, there's my questions with Joe Hendry. We all know he can. The question is, will they let him? Ethan and Ricky, I don't know. Like, I see mid to upper mid card at best. I can't see Ethan Page as WWE champion. I could maybe see him as world with a Money in the Bank type of situation, kind of like Jack Swagger, Dolph Ziggler. You know, one of those that gets the briefcase and somebody goes down with an injury, fuck it. Let him cash it in. Let him take the belt for a month, 2 months until we can figure out where to move it to. I don't know if I can see that for Ricky. Fatal Influence, I still question the move bringing Lainey Reed up. I'm not 100% convinced she was ready. But based off of the heat from last night, I think they see JC as a single star. So letting Lainey and Fallon be a tag team where that women's division needs teams, I can maybe see that working. But let's go around the room. Let's talk about these. Let's see what people think of these call-ups. And since it does seem to be more female heavy, we'll start with the female in the room. Go ahead, Ash.
I'm surprised Fatal Influence, all three of them called up, because I was convinced JC was just going to get called up by herself.
See, I figured Fallon would go. I figured they'd call JC and Fallon, because then you've got someone that can go after the world title, one can go after the mid-card title, and you've got the team. You got the best of all the worlds there.
Mm-hmm.
But I didn't see Lainey getting the call.
I'm glad all these female wrestlers from NXT got called up, because, oh my God, are they needed in the mid card, especially over on the SmackDown side of things. Because what the hell are we doing with that US title? Like, do we not have any opponents for like Julia other than Chelsea? And I'm drawing blanks right now. That's how bad that division is.
You're 100%, and it's not even Julia anymore because Tiffany got the belt last night.
Oh, well then. Yeah,
she
I
did.
didn't watch SmackDown, so that's news to me. Wow. Okay.
I did, because truth be told, I originally thought about doing the show on the releases opposite SmackDown, kind of like a big FU to the fact that SmackDown was on. But I knew there were probably going to be call-ups, so I wanted to give those people their due and then figured we could do it afterwards. So that's the only reason I watched SmackDown, was to see who debuted.
Okay.
And if you go and you watch the Fatal Influence segments, holy shit, JC was getting Dominic Mysterio heat.
Wow.
Like, it was so good, the amount of heat she was getting. They made her a star just in one night.
Nice. I will say this for like the newer version of NXT, like with the NXT call-ups, the creative team is doing a good job of reintroducing the people to the main roster because not everyone watches NXT, and that was the main issue I had with NXT Black and Gold. When they got called up, they weren't like connecting because there was like no introduction or backstory, because at the time they figured, well, they have the network. They just assume that people are going to watch NXT, but just because they have the network does not mean they're going to be watching NXT, and there isn't that disconnect. So at least now when they get called up, you'd be like, oh, this is such and such. This is what they did. This is why they got called up. There's actually a reason. They give you reasons to care for these people other than you have the network, you watch the show. But no, that's not the case. That is not the case at all.
100%. Anything else?
Not that I can think of at the top of my head, but I'm looking forward to what they do with Blake Monroe because I love her so much.
Yeah, I do have high hopes for Blake. All right, Nick, I saw your message in the private chat. Go ahead and address this. That way you can dip out.
Yeah, I got wifey. I want to hang out with the wifey tonight. Yeah, call-ups. You know what? I mean, good for the people that got called up. It's nice to see their work has been paid off. Out of all of them, I mean, yeah, I think I agree with you guys. I see Blake I can see her, filling into the young Tiffany Stratton role. Well, Tiffany kind of, I feel like this U.S. title run is a little bit beneath her. I'd like to see her keep mingling in the main event scene. So I can see Blake filling in that, mid-card role right now, win the Money in the Bank, go from there. For the men, it's so tough. Like, I really this is not a disrespect on the talent of the said individuals. But I think the men's really, there's not really a main eventer that has come up, in my opinion. I see just like, I feel like I see Ethan Page, being that, like the U.S. title scene, the mid-card scene. And I can see Ricky Shades doing the same thing. I don't see them being as main event players. And I mean, Joe Hendry, I feel like they're going to use Joe Hendry as a fucking comedy skit. Yeah, other than that, like, I see potential in some of them. And I mean, sorry, thoughts all over the place. And then Fatal Influence, I can see them kind of being, tag team champions and stuff like that. But I don't see a game changer. And I mean, I know you don't need to see one right now because, I mean, they just called up. Give them a chance to kind of bloom and let them do their thing. But I don't see, I don't know. To me, I don't see that one main event star. So hopefully over time with their, with the work that these athletes put in, hopefully they can change people's minds and be all they can be and more.
Yeah, fair enough. And I almost wonder, I feel like this is going to be truly telling now that she's on the main roster, but I wonder how much WWE creative paid attention to Mariah while she was in AEW. Because if you think about it, a lot of the Mariah Tony storyline was based off of the movie All About Eve. It's even referenced in our intro. Datilla mentions about being familiar with it. And just brief synopsis for those of you that aren't, basically an established Hollywood starlet, Tony, undertakes a protege who yearns to take the spotlight from them. We all saw what happened with Mariah and Tony. And Mariah eventually took the spotlight, the championship, from Tony until we got to the Hollywood ending. The way the movie ends is the starlet that took the spotlight away goes into her dressing room to find a girl who idolizes her and kind of wants to take her spotlight. Is Tiffany going to kind of get slotted into that role? Because a lot of people have drawn comparisons between Blake and Tiffany. You know, is this story now going to carry across both companies? It's going to be something interesting to see as the storylines progress once Blake makes her debut.
Yeah, it's all about how, at this point, you know, it's really all about how creative pushes these individuals. You know, we could, I'm sure we can go on and on about how the creative, and not just in WWE, but in both companies, have been lagging going into big shows. So hopefully, you know, creative has plans, and it seems like it's notoriously WWE, at least in the sense of they call people up and they don't know what to do with them.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, hopefully the creative is behind these athletes that are being called up. I hope, like I said, I hope the creative team know what they're doing and actually have a plan for them. Or else, I mean, then you call them up for no reason, and you've just depleted NXT, right? So, hopefully the creative is behind them, because we've seen, you know, not to turn it negative, but if creative's not behind you and the fans are not behind you, they will release you, right? Because again, it's a business and they have to meet their quota, and we're not going to talk about it. But just like I said, hopefully the creative is behind these individuals and does right by them. Because if they don't, then what is even the point?
100%. And Emmanuel brings up the same thing with a $5 super chat. Thank you, Emmanuel. Fatal Influence is already in the main event scenario. Now you have to book them to win these next couple of weeks. Like, don't give them this monster debut and this monster heat and then turn around and job them out next week. They've got to go on a monster run where they seem unbeatable, I would say, till at least SummerSlam. These girls need to be dominant. But if you turn around and they're losing by Backlash, then you've already done them dirty. Walter, it's on you, good sir.
In terms of Joe Henry, I think they're gonna get serious with him. They're gonna use his concerts and stuff kind of the way they did with The Rock. Only insult like a big star when he gets into a world champion picture, because he's already proven himself and how popular he can get. That's why they put him in with against Orton, even though he got squashed in a WrestleMania match. They saw that reaction. They saw the reaction in the Royal Rumble. I think Joe Henry, they're not going to reduce him to comedy. I think they're going to let him get a little serious and then kind of use him the way Rock uses those concerts to insult big players. And then you can kind of mix comedy with it, but not make his whole entire demeanor be all about comedy. So I think Joe Henry would be fine. Blake Monroe, I honestly see her as in the next 1 or 2 years as a Royal Rumble winner. Like, I honestly think that the stars are aligned, and I feel like they are really behind her, and that's why they seeked her when her contract expired, and that's why they put her through the system to make sure she is ready. They don't want to rush her the way some feel that they did Jade Cargill and how they just straight put her on the main roster. I think they learned from that experience, and Blake Monroe is going to be fine. I really do see her like they did with Asuka, even though Asuka lost the Mania match. Damn it, I really feel like they'll have her win the Rumble and actually do what they should have did with Asuka with Blake Monroe. I really feel like the star that they are really behind her. Let's face it, she's very beautiful. She's got the talent. She's got my skills, and she can go. And she's not afraid to get dirty in terms of hardcore matches or we've seen that dark side of her. So she's got character depth too. She's got it all. So I really feel like Blake is a future Rumble winner, and she can get to that main title. As long as, barring, knock on wood, any injuries or anything, I feel like she's fine. Ethan, and I think Ethan versus Punk is going to become a thing eventually, which is going to be big for him. I could potentially see him Money in the Bank, but I feel like he should be on. Is he on SmackDown or Raw? Did they say?
Ethan is going to be Raw.
Raw. He should have been on SmackDown so he could have Chelsea as his valet. They should make it a thing because they saw how popular that was. But there's always
we see that Jacob is bouncing right now.
Mm-hmm.
So there may be some talent bouncing back and forth between brands here as part of all this going on.
Yeah.
Won't say a draft per se, but like a transfer portal, superstar shakeup type of situation. So now that Alba is gone, we could end up seeing Chelsea move.
Yeah, true. And I would love it.
What?
I would love it if they use him as a valet. Him, Ethan, and I can actually see them both kind of having a Money Bank, like you said, in case somebody get injured. But they're going to be U.S. and Intercontinental champions within the next couple of years, and I think they can go the Miz route and actually make that title mean something. When Miz had it, and he actually elevated it for a while. So I think he can do that. But to be honest, I don't see Trick losing the U.S. title for a minute because there's so much behind him. Once he goes face, they're going to raise Trick to the WWE title picture. And then that U.S. title becomes available. And that's when Ricky Saints can get it. So for me, I don't know. I'm kind of torn. I can kind of see him winning the title, but then again, not. And I see Ethan winning more of the world title than the WWE title. And in terms of Fatal, I'm right with you. I didn't think Lacey would come up with him. I thought it was going to be a tag team with Fallon and JC Jane. But more power to them. They came up as a group. I think more of that is because Jade Cargill has a group. But then again, they'll both be heels. So I was going to say there goes a rivalry right there. But both groups are heels. So I don't know what you do with that. The heat that they got, great for them. Shows that they put in the work. And it was like some Dom Mysterio. They could not talk for anything. So I'm liking it. Eventually they'll probably be tag team champs, and JC can be probably the US women's champ or Intercontinental champ. She could become women's champ eventually, but I really don't see that down the line for at least a few years. They're gonna let her build it more, but definitely a women's mid-card title while the other two will become tag team titles. And maybe all three of them will have a belt at the same time, and they could dominate that way.
That's a fair shout. Does anybody have anything else they would like to add regarding the call-ups?
I think we said it. Just creative. That I hope again that these people have good quality, not only good quality matches, but and this is the problem that I feel sometimes with AEW is hopefully they give them things to do that matter. You're not just calling them up for the sake of calling them up. And with these call-ups, now what does NXT look like? This definitely had a domino effect. So now with this, what does NXT look like? And subsequently, obviously you can see that they'd probably bring people from Evolve to fill those roles. Well, it's just a snowball, right? So I wonder how now NXT, how does NXT shake up? And hopefully all these talents are made to matter.
Well, I know NXT just gained the Vanity Project. So there's 3 talents that they just got. Jackson Drake, Ricky Smokes, Brad Baylor. Honestly, and I want to see it happen, but I kind of selfishly don't want to see it happen because then I'll stop seeing them. But Starboy Charlie, Jack Cartwheel, and Marcus Mathers are ready for NXT. I know that Starboy is still the ID champion, like he just got it when he got his contract, but that dude does not need to be wasted in Evolve. He's ready for NXT. And the other 2 have been on Evolve since its inception. Cappuccino Jones as well. All those guys are ready for NXT to make that next step up.
Yeah.
Cappuccino Jones can very easily get slotted into the Javon Evans spot. As far as that high flyer, athletic, kind of smiley, you've got Marcus and Jack, like I said, all those guys are ready for NXT TV. And I want it for them because they deserve it, but I selfishly don't want it because then I won't be able to see them at GCW anymore. I can see them while they're in Evolve, while they're ID, but I can't see them there once they get up to NXT.
Yeah. And I think the women's division will be fine. It's going to be the hands of Jada Parker and Lola Vice Mamacita. They're going to take the NXT. I think they're going to give NXT women's division to those 2. They're going to carry it for the next at least year before one of them gets called up too. And I really feel Jada Parker deserves a shot at that title and a run with the title. Not a shot. She's had shots, but a run with that title.
You've also got to figure we're getting a small influx on occasion of AAA talent to NXT. Mr. Iguana, especially since he's mixed tag champ with Lola, and Lola's the champion right now. So you can work him into some NXT stuff. And you've got the TNA stars that occasionally pop in. And when they were at the Garden, we had Mike Santana. So it's like there's still ways to kind of combat that talent. They've still got the partnership with Noah, to my knowledge. We had Inamura last year, and then once he left, he went on to become the champion over in Noah. And I believe he's still reigning champion. So, we could get another talent from Noah coming in. I am concerned to a certain extent, but NXT this past year especially has seemed very female dominant. And I'm okay with that.
Hell yeah.
Because we've been championing the women for a while. We've been saying how there needs to be a women's television show. I'm not saying make NXT all women, but if it's women dominant, I'm here for that.
I just wish they were on a network I had more access to. That's all I wish about it.
Yeah, I agree. But at least it's a channel that has a free app and we can see it the next day. Like, I'm fine with that too. I just have to remember to actually start watching it. Because that's been my thing, is Wednesdays here prior to the trip, I was working almost every Wednesday, an opening shift. So I would come home and I wouldn't run that shit back. I'd be tired. So, but if nobody else has anything that they want to say about the call-ups, then we will run our watch-along trailer real quick, and then we'll get into the meat and potatoes of our conversation. 2 topics this week, because we know this next topic is going to be a long one. So buckle in. We'll be right back.
And now for a taste of things to come.
All the professional wrestling. I had a feeling he was going to go to me. I don't know why.
That's why I turned on my camera, just to make sure.
Because Noah's not here.
It feels so weird with no one not here. No one, Charles. It feels weird.
I know.
Fuck you guys.
He's probably napping.
Probably. Fucking Noah. Napping.
Well, it's like he saw the StreamYard link when I posted in the group chat, but then he hasn't responded since then.
Oh, he's sleeping. 100%. Hey, nice
But
shirt
like,
you're wearing
if-
there, James. Walter.
Huh?
Nice shirt you're wearing.
Hell yeah. Of course. Got a rep.
Yes, yes. Gotta represent the Poder Mania. So I teased to a couple of people about an announcement that I had. Nick came on camera for this shit. I will pop you out of here if you at least don't stop the goofy grin, fucker. At ease. Go back to being normal at least. As normal as you can be.
What's normal for Nick?
I know, but he was being overtly goofy. You know that. So I
You have
teased
an
a couple people that I had an announcement that I was going to make. And I figured this would be a good way to do it as we transition into our main event topic, because it all has to do with conventions. Wrestlecon was just the beginning. Being there, hanging out, networking, because your boy has got a press pass for Comic-Con Revolution coming up in the middle of May. So I will be going to Comic-Con Revolution with press credentials, hopefully videotaping some of the panels. Panels haven't been announced yet, but some of the people that are going to be there, in addition to the world of comic books and whatnot, Sean Waltman, Kevin Nash, RVD, Tully and Tessa Blanchard. So quite a few professional wrestlers are going to be there as well. We still have about 20 days. More talent can always be announced. There's a lot of people going to be there for Rick and Morty. There's a lot of people going to be there connected to Sonic the Hedgehog. 4 of the main 8 stars of Beverly Hills 90210 are going to be there. Obviously, Shannon Doherty and Luke Perry can't be there. They've passed away. Jason Priestley and Tori Spelling are not going to be there, but the other 8, Steve, Kelly, David, and Andrea are all going to be there. Ian Ziering, Jenny Garth, Brian Austin Green, and Gabrielle Carteras. So I'm almost willing to bet you that's going to be a panel talking about 90210. I'll bet you Sonic is going to be a panel. I'll bet you Rick and Morty is going to be a panel. I could see Nash and Waltman being a panel. I could see Tully and Tessa being a panel. You know, lots of interesting stuff, but your boy will be there covering it as press.
Nice.
Simply Reliable Studios moving up in the world, y'all. What have you been saying, Nick? What have you been saying? Go ahead, get on your, I won't say get off your high horse. Get on your high horse for a second. Repeat what you've been saying for a minute.
Oh, man.
Say the line, Bart. Say the line.
It's 2026 is just our year.
Yeah.
You know, in addition to what JJ's working on, I don't know if anybody's noticed, but I'm cooking a little thing myself.
Oh, I got a heart on my question to Kaya. She hearted my comment about her joining for watch along coverage. So that's something that could happen. We might end up with Kaya McKenna joining Nick and Mikey for the Stanley Cup Finals on a watch along or two.
Oh my God, that'd be so cool.
That'd be sick. But no, like what you're doing, that's cool. You know, and like I said, I'm people have noticed what I've been doing on Twitter. We're making friends. We're making friends. And the word of the next hopefully few months is collaboration. We're out here, you know, we're trying to make some friends, and things look to be trending in a good way. So I do want to bring, you know, hey, this is the chance for Shilling and hopefully the friends, like I said, that I've made hear this. You know, I want to shout out the Wrestle Junkies podcast. Those guys are doing phenomenal work. Those guys are a bunch of gems. Mr. Cincinnati and Broadcast Ad, those guys are excellent. You got the Rock Solid podcast crew with Kenny K9 and all those boys there. So those guys are fabulous. You know, Kicking Out podcast. Hopefully you boys are doing well. Go check all those people out because, like I said, collaboration, cookouts, and then we got. Oh, I forgot another crew that we should shout out to. Hitting the turnbuckle. Those boys and gals over there too. Remember cookout. The magic word is cookout. Y'all are gonna be seeing that word quite a bit.
Thank you very much, Nick. So before we transition over, we did get a super chat from Arlene. Thank you, Arlene. Woo! Would you have JC dethrone Rhea or someone else? I think it depends how long we have Rhea hold the title. If we're going to have Rhea hold the title until next year's WrestleMania, I could maybe see JC dethroning her. If she's going to lose the title SummerSlam Survivor Series, that might be too soon. I think a lot of it now depends on how quickly Bianca comes back after giving birth. Because I know a lot of people want Rhea versus Bianca, and a lot of people still want Jade and Bianca. And do they allow Rhea to hold that title until Bianca has given birth and is ready to come back? You know, do we see Bianca as a surprise entrant in the Rumble next year to get a shot at Rhea at Mania next year? Do fans begin to turn on Rhea for her holding the belt too long? You know, mommy stays on top and everyone seems to love her, but people also tend to turn on people if they have that much success for that long. So I think that's the $1 million question for that is, when do you book Rhea to lose it? What do you guys think? Do you have JC defeat Rhea, or do you have someone else do it?
I don't know. I have no idea. It's because nobody's really been built up right now.
Like, if you want to keep serious heat on JC, give her Money in the Bank. I know I just advocated for Blake in the last segment, but give her Money in the Bank. Let Bianca come back at the Rumble, win the Rumble, challenge Rhea at Mania, beat Rhea at Mania, have JC come out and kill the moment. If you really want to keep some heat on JC. Because now you've just had this beautiful moment, Bianca coming back after giving birth, defeating the mighty Rhea Ripley, and here comes JC Jane to just snatch that shit away. That's pretty dastardly. You might have a small pocket of fans that cheer, but most everybody's going to boo her out the building. Book it, WWE. I just gave it to you. Just shoot me a couple of free tickets when that shit goes down next year at Mania.
Do we know if WrestleMania is still going to be in Saudi Arabia next year? Or
as of right now, yes.
Okay.
That can always change.
Yeah.
But as of right now, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I'm trying to think of who have Nick did make a good point. Who have they built up for the main event scene other than yeah, that is a very good question. Who do they have? For Rhea to feud with over on SmackDown.
Mm-hmm.
I see a comment in there. I do agree that Roxanne should win the Money in the Bank, but I think she's going to cash on Liv, and that's how you finally break them away from the Judgment Day. But in terms of Rhea, there ain't a lot to feud with. I mean, Tiffany's the U.S. title. What's she gonna do after she loses that? Go up after the title she's already had again and again? We've seen that.
Mm-hmm.
So one of those girls, JC Jane, but I really don't see them putting her right into the world title until a little later on. You don't want to let out too much of the bag, and then all of a sudden now you don't know what to do with her. We pushed her all the way to the main event. Now she falls down. Ain't nowhere to go but down once you reach all the way to the top. So I want rather see her gradually get there rather than be rushed there,
Yeah.
which is what I feel like they did with Asuka last time, and I'm still pissed about it, obviously.
Obviously. All right. Well, thank you again, Arlene, for that super chat. Thank you, Emmanuel, for your super chat earlier. So on to the main event. And the reason why I made my convention announcement where I did. Because, y'all, apparently we need to have a conversation. And trust, it's not anything that any of us are doing in this room. But a small percentage of wrestling fans decided to do things that are making it hard for the larger population of wrestling fans. I mean, between a fan recording an intimate moment between Bayley and AJ Lee, which Punk smacked the guy's phone out of his hand, and then the guy has the nerve to demand an apology, between fans stalking X-Pac and Booker T in the bathrooms, between fans following around Drew McIntyre and Royce Keys, between a fan grabbing Elena Black's ass. Apparently, this is a conversation that needs to be had. And again, I know it's nobody in this room. I'm willing to bet it's not the people in our chat room. But the problem is the age-old saying, one bad apple will spoil the bunch. And I don't want these bad apples to ruin future experiences. So what I'm going to do is I am going to share something here because a Twitter user named Carmine, and I'm probably going to botch this last name, but Sabia, Sabia, at Carmine Sabia, made a post with this photo attachment. And I am going to read their post because I echo this 100%. Carmine says, I don't normally talk about professional wrestling on this page because it's not what my audience is here for. But after what I saw from fans at WWE WrestleMania this past weekend, I'm making an exception. I'm going to be blunt, so bear with me. I've followed professional wrestling since I was 5 years old. I'm 48 now. Some of my closest friends are current and former superstars. I won't name them because they don't need the heat that comes with being associated with me. When I was around 10, we found out what hotel the wrestlers were staying at in New Jersey. I begged my mom, who hated wrestling, but would do anything for me, to take me. She reluctantly agreed. We went with a small group of kids and adults. Before we left, she made sure I showered and dressed nicely, like a person. When we got there and I started seeing these larger-than-life superheroes, I wanted to run up to every single one of them. My mom grabbed my arm and said, "They're checking in. They're busy. Wait." So I waited. Within an hour, many of them were in the lobby, and every one of them was happy to interact, take photos, and sign autographs. Later, before we left, I saw a tag team eating in the hotel cafe. Again, I wanted to rush over. Again, my mom grabbed my arm and said, "They're people like everyone else. They're eating. You don't interrupt people like that." That team saw what happened, and within minutes they came out of the cafe, found me, picked a spot with good lighting for a photo, and signed autographs. And my mom made sure I said please and thank you every single time. Years later, I became an indie promoter. A mediocre one if I'm being honest, but I made more friends in the business through my current line of work. There's nothing quite like realizing that someone you grew up watching is now a fan of you. I say all that to say this. What some fans did this weekend was reprehensible. It's exactly why people look at wrestling fans as the dredges of society. Wrestlers were accosted, harassed, even physically grabbed and treated like circus animals. If you call yourself a fan and that's how you behave, you're not a fan. You're a selfish prick. Chasing people around, shoving cameras in their faces, demanding autographs like you're owed something. That's not fandom. That's entitlement. And here's another concept that apparently needs to be explained. Shower, shave, put on clean clothes. You want to get close to these people and you look and smell like a gas station bathroom. Think about that. And the way some of you interact with female wrestlers is beyond unacceptable. This isn't a strip club in a seedy part of town. You don't get to touch anyone, ever, especially not them. If they choose to put an arm around you for a photo, fine, but you do not initiate that. Their personal space belongs to them, not you. It's not complicated. Be clean, be respectful, be grateful. Do that, and you'll have a great experience. This has been my TED Talk. I would say it needs to be said, but more does need to be said, unfortunately. Because this happens all too often. I told Nick and Mikey during the playoff call, I would almost be willing to bet money this isn't the only time we're going to have this conversation this year. I would almost be willing to bet you we'll have to have it at SummerSlam, another 2-day event that usually has Wrestlecon or something similar connected to it, and Survivor Series, which is usually around the same time as WrestleCade, which is a multi-day fan expo. So I'm almost willing to bet we're going to have this conversation at least once more, if not twice more this year. And that's a damn shame. Because we're all, supposedly, grown-ass adults. But this needs to be conversated about and talked about, sadly. And it would be one thing if it was a one-and-done conversation. But the fact that this is not the first time we've discussed it on this show, and it's probably not going to be the last time, is what hurts my soul the most. Now, I can't believe that I'm going to do this. I 100% can't believe I'm going to do this, but for a split second, I want to play a small, like minute level of devil's advocate here. If WWE wasn't charging up the ass for some of these fan meet and greet experiences, would this be as much of an issue? That's something to think about. Because while some of the fan access events, meet and greets were $45, $60, reasonable enough amounts. I think Punk and AJ were like $200. I think Seth was around $200. Undertaker, easily $200 to $300. Or you hang out in the hotel and you hope to get a freebie with them. Especially with as much as WWE is charging for tickets to WrestleMania. Then this on top of it. Now, again, I'm not justifying anything. But would this be as much of an issue if the fan meet and greet experiences were a little bit cheaper? That's something to think about. Because me and Walter each paid about $60 to $65 just to go to WWE World on Monday. We paid for no extra experiences. All the people we met were in the freebie lines. And thank God we met them when we did, because we got pictures with every single member of the Wyatts, and where are they now? So, but again, if WWE was doing these world events and making the ability to meet their stars more accessible for fans, would fans feel the need to be this and act this entitled? I think that's a big part of the conversation that needs to be had. There's no excusing the behavior. The behavior should be not happening the way it is regardless. I praised Walter ad nauseum last week on Sunday Shenanigans, because every time he wanted to step up to somebody and talk to them, he asked, "May I approach you?" Not counting, of course, the people that we went to go see at Wrestlecon, because we obviously got in line to see them. So asking them if we can approach them kind of seemed redundant at that point.
I still asked, may I shake your hand? I didn't assume.
Exactly. And I'll even admit, one of the things I need to work on is putting my arm around the women. Like, I don't put it low, like around the waist. I go up top, like around the shoulder. That way there's no chance they can say I'm trying to grab their ass or anything. But that's something that I need to work on, because that's just a force of habit for me to put my arm.
Some of the people,
the guys too, I put my arm around them.
yeah, I even asked for that, because some of the females, I was like, I didn't want to assume. Like, I went to shake their hands, and they're the ones that initiated hugs to us. And I was like, I didn't want to assume. And they were like, you're fine. And then when we took pictures, I said, I don't know where to put my hand, because I'm not that fan, and I'm not trying to be disrespectful. And a lot of them said, just right there, you're fine.
But again, to his point, like, I'm sure they probably got a kick out of that, but then you got the guy grabbing Elena Black's ass. Just because she has an OnlyFans page doesn't mean you've got permission to grab her ass. And especially, you know, I don't care if he is smaller than me, but her dude is standing right next to her at the booth adjacent to her. Like, who in their right mind is going to grab someone's ass when their man is standing right there? Apparently this guy. But, like, that's not even a thought that would enter my mind. You know what I mean? It's like, I don't get it. But don't chase wrestlers. Don't touch people unprovoked. Shower. Wear clean clothes. It's really not that hard, y'all. You know, we bumped into so many people that we didn't have to chase anybody. You know, we had Izzy joking with us that we were following her because we kept bumping into her at so many different places, but it just happened to be the shows and shit that we were going to. Not a whole lot could be done about that. You know? It would have been very easy for me to ask Megan Bain when she told me, I'm in a hurry to catch this Uber, I can't. It would have been very easy to be like, well, do you mind if I walk with you so I can talk? But I didn't even do that. I just let her go. And I wanted nothing more from her than to give her an award that she had won. I didn't want an autograph. I didn't want a picture. I mean, I'm not going to lie. I would have liked one, but that's not why I was trying to talk to her. I wanted to give her her award because she's the only person from that match that didn't leave with her award.
Yep.
All other 5 people got theirs.
Mm-hmm. Look at J-Rod. We saw J-Rod sitting down eating downstairs, and me and him were talking. And she thought we said something. I said no, and then she was like, "Why? Did you want to approach me?" I said, "We know who you are. We are fans, but you're eating, and we don't want to bother you. We're not those fans." And it's like it clicked in her head, and she was like, "Wow, they're respectful." Because she saw us again upstairs later, ran up to us and hugged us as if she knew us.
Mm-hmm. It's crazy the kind of love you'll get from these people if you treat them with just an iota of dignity. You know, we saw a couple of them multiple times, you know, like we said, in different environments. You know, we saw Danny Moe a couple of times up in the regular rooms wrestling, and then we saw her at the Lingerie Fighting Championships.
Mm-hmm.
You know, wearing less than what she wears normally in the ring. But, like, we were no different to her than we were in any other environment.
We saw Jordan bust on the brain like 20 times, and we literally never bothered a picture, never. All we did was give them the award, and they appreciate it, and we said hi every time we saw them, but we never bothered them for shaking their hands or taking pictures or anything, and it seemed like they knew that. Sometimes they would come up to us and start talking to us.
You know, to Carmine's point, it's like, if you see them hanging out and it's not a meet and greet environment, then just be patient. You know, we saw the Swirl, Blake Christian and Lee Johnson, right? I can never remember the other one's last name. I know it's Lee something, but I don't want to get it mixed with like Lee Moriarty. You know, I think it's Lee Johnson.
I'm pretty sure.
But I recognize Blake right off the top as a former GCW champion. And so I told Walter, yo, I think that's the Swirl. I know that's Blake. I think that's his partner. And so they were in the middle of a conversation. And so we just stood back, probably about 5 or 6 feet. And we waited. And then at some point, a few other fans kind of rushed in and did the wrong thing, interrupting the conversation. But they were gracious, took pictures. At that point, the conversation ended, and the people they were talking to went their way.
Mm-hmm.
And then once those fans were done, Walter and I approached. Respectful, courteous, even told them, we didn't want to be those guys. We saw you guys were having a conversation, so we were going to let you guys finish your talk. Blake was like, you didn't have to do that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we did. Because we're the good guys. We're not to sound arrogant, but we're not the guys that are going to rush you like the guys before us did.
Not true.
We've realized that you're people. You're having conversations with your friends, colleagues, peers, other promoters. We don't know. Have your conversation. We can talk to you when you're done.
Another one, literally, D'Lo Brown was getting bombarded by everybody. He came up to me, shook my hand, was willing to take a picture. I heard him say, I got to take a piss like a racehorse. I said, D'Lo, go use the bathroom, dude. Don't, he was like,
whoa, wait, bro.
Yeah, he was like, you mind? He said, listen, don't go anywhere. Stay right here. I'm going to come back. I'm going to take a picture and everything. So that's what the joke on Twitter that I said. I told him, thanks for not treating me like a dog treats a bush, because he came back. And then when he came back from the bathroom, 4 or 5 people kind of interrupted him. I stayed exactly where I was, and he came up to me and thanked us for how we were patient and waited and respected him, and came back.
Yeah, it's not difficult, y'all.
We didn't follow him into the bathroom, trying to film him, none of that. And Swerve was behind us. I turned around. I literally said, may I approach you? He looked at me, read my lips, and then he waved us over. He said, come here. And I immediately apologized because I don't know who he was with. I don't want to assume that's his wife, his girl, whatever. I said, I didn't want to interrupt you talking to her. Told him where I was. She saw the mic on my chest, thought I was recording. I was like, no, I'm not that kind of podcaster. I wouldn't do that without permission. And I made them both laugh. And then they literally sat and talked with us for like 4 or 5 minutes straight, just talking to us because we approached them with respect.
And like I had the opportunity even before that, because I had gone to the bar just to get a cup of ice, so I could have something, let the ice melt a little bit, drink some water. Him and the lady were at the bar, and I just completely ignored them. Let them do their thing like actual people. It would have been very easy for me to say something to him while we were standing there at the bar, make some conversation. But I just let him be. And then when I got back to Walter, I told him, yo, I think that was Swerve at the bar with me. And I pointed him out. And Walter was like, yeah, that was Swerve. So when they finally came over to our area, that's when Walter did what he did. But like, I could have made that move then. Chose not to. Because again, to Walter's point, to Carmine's point, they're human beings. I mean, let's just assume for a split second that's not his wife, that's not a girlfriend. That was some random chick he was trying to pick up. I don't want to fuck up Swerve's game. You know what I mean? It's like, I want to screw that up.
I don't want to fuck up Swerve's swag.
Yeah, for real. But, Nick, you've been awful quiet here, sir. Speak.
Yeah, I mean, fans nowadays feel entitled. And it's shit like this that gives us a bad name because, we're out here trying to do things and for example, the women that we were interviewing, right? Like, you fans that do that, it gives us a bad name because then it's people like that who don't want to come on our show.
Mhm.
And then, I mean, guys, fuck, personal hygiene, like, that should be a fucking given, right? Like, you're
Yeah.
meeting people, you're around people. Like, it's stupid things like this where it's like, we know it. And, fans just take it too far. Y'all need to, like, fucking chill out.
Walter and I were showering every day. Like, legit, before going to this shit. Like, come on, y'all. It's not that difficult. It's really not. I don't get it. I don't get it. Shower, shave, brush your teeth. Yeah, maybe not shave. Shave, I can understand. I mean, some people may be trying to grow something, Okay, cool. The shave is the least of it all, but shower, brush your teeth, wear clean clothes, be presentable. Like, when the guy says shave, I'm assuming he doesn't mean like don't have like a bum beard, but like well groomed, maintained. That's one thing. There were a couple of different days, and it wasn't happening every day, but there were a couple of days, and Walter can attest to this. I had like 3 or 4 shirts in my backpack. I was changing shirts every show, putting on more deodorant, because we were going to be out all day. We were running around a lot. Even though these hotels and casinos are air conditioned, smoking is allowed. So you get cigarette smoke scent on your clothes.
And then our lungs fucking us up, but that's another thing.
Unfortunately, there's nothing you can do about that except don't go in the casinos. And when the events are in the casinos, well, But you can change your shirts so that you're not walking around in 12 hours with fucking stank ass shirts. It seems so simple. But the most important part of it is these superstars, and this goes across the board. This isn't just for professional wrestlers. That just happens to be how we're tying it in. This goes for any professional sports athlete. This goes for actors and actresses, musicians, rappers, comedians. They owe you nothing. Don't follow them. Don't stalk them. Don't wait for them at the baggage terminal when they come in to pick up their stuff. Don't stalk them at the event and the venues, waiting for them to come out afterwards. Like, to a certain extent, on that last one, I can get it. Because especially sports fans try to get the superstars coming in and going out. It's been a part of tradition for years. I can kind of get that one. But if they say we don't have time, don't chase them. Don't follow them.
Don't instantly call them an asshole just because they don't have time. They don't have time. They're human.
Yeah.
You know how busy their schedule is?
They will treat you the way you treat them. And if they treat you rudely and you're being polite, that's when you can have an issue with them. That's why I have issue with Joey Mercury. But that's a whole other story. I was trying to be polite and respectful, and I got crap in return from him. Ash, anything that you want to add? You've also been quiet about this one.
This is a loofah. It's your best friend.
God damn it, Ash.
I mean, not everyone has time to shower, so soap and a loofah does the trick. Helps out a lot for you, so that way you're not smelling. Because no one wants to deal with that. It's just sad, like the self-entitlement of like fans in general. It's just like they feel like because these people are in the public, they're entitled to their time. When no, they're not. They're just regular people like you and I, and they deserve their privacy as well. And you go, yeah, the sad part was, even when the tickets were affordable, we still had people doing this. And it's just sad that there's like, they have like no courtesy or respect or anything. And that's really, and it's just, it's ridiculous. It's sad. And it's just like, what are they doing?
Hey, AEW
We
tickets
did.
are affordable and people still do it.
I was going to say we did, but I don't think we heard about it as often. You know, that's the thing, is like I feel like we've heard about this more since the TKO WWE merger. That's not to say that it didn't happen before, but I feel like the incidents were fewer and further between.
And it's just, especially with the females, don't do that shit. Because you know you wouldn't approach a UFC fighter like that. Because you know you get your ass kicked because they're actually trained to wrestle.
Right.
So, especially if I feel like some people do it on purpose to rile somebody up so they can just get paid or to shut up or something, like so they can sue or something. Like I feel like we are in this sue mentality, and especially in America. And that's what it really is. They want to rile somebody up, get a reaction, get that on film so they can get some hush money or something.
Well, I mean, let's look at this from a couple different ways. Like, would you want someone doing that to your sister? Would you want someone doing that to your wife, your girlfriend? Would you want someone doing that to your mom? So why would you do it to her? You know, I have gone to adult entertainment conventions. Long time ago, galaxy far, far away.
Yeah, he had to put that out there a long time ago.
No, for real. Like, this was when I was with my daughter's mom. Okay, that's how long ago this was. So we're talking probably close to 20 years ago. And even at that, I wouldn't have grabbed any of their asses. And they literally like put themselves out there like that. Like, even those women I respect enough to not just up and grab them. You know what I mean? Like, and if I wouldn't do that to them, why am I going to do it to Elena? Make it make sense. Like, if I wouldn't do it to a woman who literally makes her money by getting naked and doing things on camera, why would I do it to any other woman? Except for my own woman. Anybody? Bueller? Like, seriously here.
Yeah, it's like you. I was actually gonna say what you just said. It's like, yo, if that was my wife, like, fucking, you get your ass beat. You know what I mean? Like,
for real. Like, and the rumor is, and you know, we didn't physically see it happen, But the rumor is Casey Navarro beat the shit out of the dude for grabbing her ass.
Good.
And like, I would have done the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure if some random dude grabbed your wife's ass, Nick, you'd beat the shit out of him.
It'd be knuckle sandwiches on the order.
Walter, same thing. If some random dude grabbed your wife's ass, I'm sure you would beat the shit out of him. So it's like,
yeah, the fandom nowadays, it's just like y'all dudes need to chill. Like, I don't know if y'all need to like take some like Ativan before you go to these conventions, or like, you know, take some chill pills. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I think maybe when people go to these things, they get in their own head and they get really excited. So it's like, maybe you need to take something to keep you level-headed, because you should not be doing what you're doing. And it's unfortunate that this has to even be a conversation, because that's fucking weird. Fucking weird. Like,
no, it really is. And, you know, again, like, I want to bring it back to my counterpoint. Like, would we be having these conversations as frequently if the experiences were more affordable?
Yes.
You still think we would?
Yes. And I think it'd be on a worse level.
Really?
Yeah.
Because I think all these instances about the stalking and the following, I would at least like to think that those would be cut if the experiences were more affordable. Now, that's not to say that there may not be some pervs trying to grab women. But as far as the Bailey and AJ thing, the Drew thing, the Booker T thing, the Royce Keys thing, I'd like to think that these incidences would probably get cut back if the superstars were more affordable to meet. Because then there's no reason to follow them. You can afford to buy the experience.
These people are just disrespectful, and they got balls. I know the worst one. When we were younger, when I was younger, the worst we did was like go to where they come out in the car in the garage and stand there and like wave at their cars and said hey and try to do that kind of stuff. That was like the worst it got when I was younger.
Mm-hmm. And that's something that I've always done too. Is you go where the wrestlers come in and out with their vehicles, and you hang out. And if they come over, they come over, and if they don't, they don't. You know, that's how I got my picture with AR Fox at Revolution. That's how I got that thing with the infantry. You know, because that was where the cars would pull in at. And before they went over to security to check in and go down the tunnel into the arena, they came over to us. You know? Then you form a line, you wait your turn, you get up there and you get your picture. You don't push, you don't knock people over, you don't rush. But that's the most I've ever done.
Honestly, like I've never been to a convention, so like I never have done that sort of things. I would feel like I feel like if you're going to your very first one ever in your life, you might have the jitters, so you might maybe like. I feel like again, you'd have the jitters, and you might not know what to, not to necessarily say you won't know what to do. It's just you don't know.
The
Like it's a
etiquette.
new surrounding. Well, no, it's just a new surrounding, right? Like when you're in a new surrounding for the first time, like you don't know kind of what to do. So you feel like everything you did, like you'd second guess yourself, kind of thing. But I mean, if you're a person who has been to conventions, which I feel like these people have, show some fucking class. Because, again, you ruin it for the rest of us. You ruin it for people, like us podcasting, people in this kind of space to where, we're reaching out to females and we don't want to come off or be labeled as something we're not.
Yeah. Like
Right.
Carmine said, wrestling fans already have a bad reputation. People like this just make it worse. You can keep going, Nick. I just wanted to add that in there.
No, that was pretty much it. Like I said, it's just show some class when you go to these things. Like, just be a fucking be a person. Like, don't be weird. Like, I don't know what. Like, we're gonna keep beating a dead horse with this, but it's legit. Just be a normal human being. If you wouldn't like it done to you or somebody you know, why would you do it to somebody else? Why? Because you don't know them? Like, grow a pair. Grow up.
Yeah, seriously, like it, and especially considering who it happened to. And I'm going to switch things over real quick, so give me 1 second. But it makes me regret booted them out. It makes me regret having this as a promotional tool, considering that's who got groped. Granted, I've stopped using that, but, I now have regrets because something happened to that woman. I mean, it sucks that these conversations need to be had, but we're going to keep doing our part as long as we have to until the shit stops.
I feel like we're going to continue to have this conversation. It's never going to stop. Like, it's always going to be somebody. I just hope that the performers, the actors, everybody just realize it's not everyone.
I'm sure they know. If they didn't realize that, then I think they would stop doing these type of appearances. But at the end of the day, these performers, and especially the ones that aren't in WWE, need these type of appearances to help supplement their income. TNA pays the lowest out of the three major companies. That's not a diss. That's factual. AEW has tier deals. You know, there's some people that do independent shows, and there's some people that don't. The ones that take independent bookings need those bookings to help supplement their income. So they're more apt to do a meet and greet type of this, like this, or a convention like this. Hell, diagonal from where the Elena Black incident occurred was Mina Shirakawa. You want to talk about a prime target for someone groping? I just thank God that nothing happened to that young lady.
Right? Especially like given how her on-screen character is as well. Because like how overtly sexual she is in nature. But that's another thing too. Like people forget about like these women just because they're like sexual in their nature and their character does not mean they want to be like that with you in particular.
Sweetheart, I'm gonna ask you to say that one more time because it's coming from the mouth of a woman, and I'm gonna give you a solo.
Just because women are overtly sexual in nature by their jobs and characteristics does not mean they want to get like that with you. We need consent as well. We are people. We need respect. We want respect. We demand respect. Treat us like how you would your mom, your cousin, your sister, or any other female.
Hear, hear. You know, me or Walter could have said that, but it just wouldn't have hit the same. That's why I wanted you to repeat it. But yeah, it would have been very easy for someone to try to take advantage of her. If memory serves me, diagonally the other direction was Natalia Markova. Which, again, going back to how I have regrets about my image, that's that young lady. Okay. Now, to be clear, she put that photo of herself out there. So clearly she didn't mind that image getting out. But just because she takes a picture like that doesn't mean that she wants you to treat her like that, to your point. It would have been very easy for someone to try and do that with her.
And she was the one that I said, I don't want to put my hand in the wrong place. She is she kind of had a pose with her. Because, again, I respected her.
So, I feel like we're beating the proverbial dead horse at this point. I feel like we've more than made our points. I'm going to run the trailer one more time. And then if there's not any other questions or anything from the chat, you can go ahead and wrap up and get out of here early. You know, for us West Coasters, it's not even midnight yet, and it's not even midnight for Ash. She's Central Time.
Yeah, it's 11:43 p.m. right now.
So if we can get her off before midnight, woohoo. So we will be right back.
And now for a taste of things to come.
all the wrestling. All right. So, that all being said, we'll go ahead. We'll start to get out of here. Ash, why don't you tell everyone where you can be found?
You can find me on X, the app formerly known as Twitter, at ShadowBadAsh. And you can find me on YouTube at Baddie for Wrestling. Subscribe and don't be a dickhead.
And we did just get a super chat. Emmanuel with $2. Thoughts on releases, Nick and Ash, since they didn't give theirs. Well, Nick was on the stream last night, but Ash was not there. So, Ash, go ahead, give your thoughts on the releases real quick.
Well, the Indies and TNA got some new people because TNA could badly use some people, especially with how thin their roster is. Like, goddamn.
How many of them can TNA afford, though?
Yeah, that's a good question. Thank God we have the Indies, right?
Yeah, I mean, there's only one name that I really want to see go to TNA, and that's Dexter Lumis.
Oh, yeah, because he was really good there, too.
Well, that and India's there.
Oh, yeah, I forgot about
We
those.
can
Those
have
two
an
are a couple.
index reunion.
Yeah, those two are still in kayfabe couple. They haven't gotten divorced.
Mm-hmm. So,
Also, there's a couple people that were released that could do so well in the undead realm if they are still continuing with that. Especially Nikki Cross. She would be perfect for that shit.
Agreed.
Who else is on there? I hate to be this person. I'm going to be this fucking person. Can't we get Motor City Machine Guns to ROH and AEW? That'd be pretty cool.
yeah, the only names I want to see AEW pick up are the Machine Guns and Alba Fire, Kaylee Ray.
Ooh,
because they've already got Isla Dawn on a tier deal, so you can put the Unholy Union back together for the women's tag division.
Oh, that's a good shout. Yeah. They could probably. So, do you see them if she does go down there? Do you see them teaming with or feuding with the Triangle of Madness?
Feuding with.
Mm.
Give me Sisters of Sin versus the Unholy Union.
Ooh, that'd be a good women's tag feud right there, and then the titles don't even need to be involved. That's just some wicked witchy ways that you can start feuds with.
And then just because of the haha, I'd kind of like to see Joe Gacy go over there because the Grizzled Young Vets were part of the Schism.
Oh.
And I would just love to see them like encounter each other backstage. Nothing has to happen. Nothing has to be said, but just they pass each other, give each other a look, keep on going.
That little acknowledgement, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. That would be funny to me.
I'm also trying to think of like if Motor City Machine Guns go to Japan, where would they fit in the New Japan area? But in Pro Wrestling Noah, they'd be a perfect fit there because there's like 2 teams right now that they can fit perfectly in.
Okay.
There's
all I know is whether it's a GCW homecoming in New Jersey, which is usually August, or whether it's Homecoming LA, which was September last year. Give me Busta in the Brain versus the Motor City Machine Guns.
Hell yeah. Oh my God. You want to talk about a match that would bang slap fucking get me turned on? Hell yeah.
I'll tell you what, I'll go you one better. Give me Sinner and Saint versus the Motor City Machine Guns.
That
winner gets Busta in the Brain.
Oh, hey. Okay. I see it.
Let's make a little story out of this because Sinner and Saints already had their shot, but by beating the Machine Guns, that would get them another shot. You know what I mean?
And that would establish them as a team, as like a team to and force to be reckoned with because Motor City Machine Guns, they're legends in the indie scene. people talk about Young Bucks influences on the indies. Motor City Machine Guns, they're unsung heroes. They do not get their flowers. They are not talked about enough in the best tag team in the world conversation when there's like so many teams right now who are also equally influenced by them as well.
Look, I said this last night. Walter can attest to this. The Machine Guns were the bridge between the Hardys and the Young Bucks.
Yes, they were. Yes, they were.
And they don't get that respect put on their name.
Right? Like, what the fuck, man?
And then, like, with the history that the Machine Guns have in SoCal because they're PWG days, that's why I want that at Homecoming LA.
Okay. So there's that connection I was not aware about. Okay, that's pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
That's
because one of the first places the Machine Guns teamed when they got together was Ring of Honor and PWG before the act was brought to TNA television. Because PWG was always kind of looked at as Ring of Honor West Coast. So, but yeah, the Machine Guns have got SoCal roots. So that's why I want that. And then with Busta and the Brain, just give me that.
Hell yeah.
Please give me that.
I sign off on that shit.
And if we can find a way to make it a ladder match between those three teams, that's even better. I'm not sure what building we can find where we can structure something but give me that match.
I think GCW can find something.
It's just a matter of where do they go
exactly
that you can do a ladder match, because they were supposed to have the Grab the Brass Ring ladder match in Vegas. But we're looking around, we're like, where are you going to hang this brass ring?
Right.
It's like, unless you do like an Ultimate X style structure, where do you hang this ring?
True, yeah.
Or do you do it Vinnie Rue style and you turn it into a pole match and you put the brass ring on a pole, which is a cheap way out, but you know, it's a way to solve the problem.
Right.
Don't really need a ladder at that point, but we're trying to figure it out. And then that's why it got turned into the kind of match it got turned into. But like, you've got to find a venue that's willing to let you hang something from it, because what if it causes damage to the roof and the ceiling?
Yeah, and we've seen enough of those on the indies.
Yeah. Go back and watch the match between Chris Hero and CM Punk where they literally tried to destroy the barn of IWA Mid-South. Because that building was closing. So they were like, well, fuck it. Let's destroy it as much as we can. Go back and watch that shit. We don't need that. But yeah, so any other thoughts on releases, Al?
I'm just hoping wherever they land, they get paid well and they get booked well, because that's all you can ask for these talent. Like, no matter where they go, continue to support them. Buy their merch, watch their matches any way you can. Support the wrestlers, not the brand.
100%. And the only thing I'll add, and I said this last night, not to turn it into a negative, but if you never really supported them before, stop acting like they were your favorite wrestlers now.
I posted something like that on Twitter earlier today, so.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to sit here and act like I was a huge fan of some of these people, but there's some people that I was huge fans of.
Mm-hmm.
You know? Case in point. You know, one more member of this photo is now gone. Like, literally all that's left are the two in the black shirts, Thea JC, and Tyler Bate. Everybody else is gone. And you wouldn't know Tyler Bate's still there because he wears a mask. because he's one of the Americanos.
Mm-hmm.
Nick's like, sorry, my phone died. And that's right. Still believe in Chase U, Charles. Safed says he'd like to see Mina and Kyrie team up, or versus Kyrie, excuse me. That would be good. Kyrie being released during the story and noise. Yeah. All right. Walter.
You can reach me at Rage of Wrestling. Please subscribe. I appreciate everybody on the X and watching and all the views I get, but can we translate that to some subscribers on YouTube, please, people? Would love it. Sorry if I sound like I'm begging, but really need to get those numbers up. Walter.cruz.940 on Instagram. Of course, the X, Walter Alex Cruz. And that's where you can find me.
I mean, we know you got a few subs while we were in Vegas because people were like taking their phones out and subscribing to you like as soon as you gave them the business card. So
yeah, it went up, definitely.
But we could definitely use some more. Let's get Walter to 300 by the end of the year. That way he can do the Hot Ones challenge. Hell, let's try to get him there by SummerSlam.
Right.
Let's try to get him there by SummerSlam. I think we can do it, everybody. We've got enough fans of this show. We've got enough supporters. You know, let's play some telephone. Tell your friends, and they'll tell friends, and they'll tell friends, and so on and so on. Like
word of mouth is the best.
100%. 100%. Let's see where are we at? Live as we speak, 226. So we need about 74 people. By SummerSlam, by August, 3 months and some change, because it's early August this year, we can do that. It's 25 subs a month. Let's make this happen.
Definitely. Please.
And Nick makes a point. That's what collabs are for. The collabs he's trying to set up may turn into subs for us. So
hopefully.
And then me. You can find me on Instagram, the Renegade JJ Williams, YouTube Casa D18 Studios, X Casa D18 Studio, no S at the end of the X. I'm also the primary poster on SR Studios 2024. The 4 main ones of us here have access to it, but I'm pretty much the only one that's on it. Make sure you follow there. Follow the Pink Ranger, Datilla at Datilla _ on X, Rangers of Wrestling on Twitch and Instagram and YouTube as well. Follow Noah, the Simple Man, at nfoster1916 on X and YouTube. And go ahead and give a shout out to the Dominguezes who super chatted this evening. We appreciate you guys. Find Emmanuel at EDM7324 on Insta. Arlene is Arlene Dominguez on Insta and ADM73244 on the X. Check that stuff out there. Hope you guys enjoyed this shorter episode this week. I know we all did, especially after the marathon episode from last week. Make sure you join us tomorrow. Statboy is going to be doing some sports watch-alongs, some elimination games.
Oh,
Keens
yeah,
and
I'm
the
joining
Avalanche.
him.
Okay, Keens and Avalanche at 3:30 Eastern, 12:30 Pacific kickoff. And then the Lakers Rockets at 9 Eastern, 6 Pacific tip-off for that. Make sure you guys tune in for that. Which one are you going to be on, Walter? Or are you going to be there for
the
both?
NBA?
Okay. But going to try. Hopefully Nick will be able to join for the hockey one. Go back and listen to some of the Penguins Flyers game from before this, Walter. Nick and Mikey had great chemistry. Nick, obviously being a Canadian, knows his hockey. You know, him and Mikey were having fantastic banter. You know, so hopefully that'll be a regular thing. And then we even tweeted out to Kaya McKenna about her coming on for Stanley Cup Finals for a couple of games. So we'll see what happens there.
The one
Emmanuel says wait, but he hasn't done anything more since he said wait. So we can't wait too much longer. And it's officially hit midnight for Ash now. So
should I check my PayPal? Let's see.
Oh, here it goes. Why did night one suck? How to improve? I don't know. The biggest complaint I have from night one of WrestleMania, and granted, I didn't get to see the main event because we had to leave for the Lingerie Fighting Championship show we went to. And the two matches that were on ESPN before kicking over, we only got to hear because we were coming back from Big Gay Brunch and stopping for food before we got back to the room. So I didn't really get to see those. But the one complaint that I had heard more than anything was length of time on matches versus time spent on advertisements. So how do you improve it? You give the matches more time to tell their stories. You cut a little bit of time on the ads. The one thing I will never understand about WWE is why they feel the need to give us all these advertisements behind a paywall. We're already paying for the pay-per-view. Don't hit us with all these ads too. You know, I can forgive, you know, maybe a 3-minute ad break in between each hour. You know, kind of transition from 1 hour to the next. I can maybe forgive that. But a 3 to 5 minute ad break in between each match, when you would be using that time like you did in the old days to show video packages to kind of hype the matchup.
Read my mind. That's what I was going to say. I'd rather you do the video packages with the music back.
Right? Give backstory to why the matches are happening for those who don't watch weekly.
Yeah. That's the only criticism I can give, because I didn't see enough of night one to say that it sucked. You know, I can understand why people feel that way, but I did not see enough to be able to give that opinion.
If I'm being honest, I feel like the company put more effort behind night two than they did night one, and it kind of translated into it. Like, you can kind of see it. I feel like they did that themselves. They put more effort into night two. So that's why a lot of people didn't like night one. It didn't seem like they put the same amount of effort into it.
Possibly. And night one could be the stuff that TKO was kind of forcing to happen versus the stuff Triple H wanted to happen. That's another thing, because what was the night one main event? Cody versus Randy with Pat McAfee shoehorned in. A lot of people were mad about McAfee being put in that space in the first place. So I think a lot of people were already going to shit on that because of McAfee's involvement. And Jelly Roll being involved, and like iShow Speed being on the show, and like all these celebrities being forced into the matches. None of that was on night two.
No.
The biggest celebrity you had on night two was Brock Lesnar, if you want to get down to it, because he's a part-timer. And what did he do? First match, put over the future, left his boots in the ring. You know? Anybody else want to chime in on Emmanuel's super chat? Then we can get out of here.
Yeah, that's how I thought about night one. There's like way too many advertisements, and some of the celebrity involvement made no sense. At least with the iShowSpeed involvement, that kind of makes sense because he's friends with Logan Paul, so he has that to go off of. But with Jelly Roll and Pat McAfee, where's the connection there? They were just there because they needed eyeballs, and they're big celebrities. People can be like, oh, we tune into them, even though because sure, WrestleMania has always been built around celebrities, but at least it made sense. Like they had reason to be there. McAfee and Jelly Roll didn't. And because of the adverts, some of the matches suffered, especially Liv Morgan and Stephanie Vaquer. That match was fine, but it felt so rushed. And
I think Liv Morgan had more time for her performance entrance than the match was given.
Yeah. And that's saying a lot. Because me personally, I don't have an issue with the matches being short as long as they had enough time to tell the story that they intended. Because some of the matches on there were short. Like, for example, I hear people complain about the AJ Lee Becky Lynch match when AJ Lee's always had short matches.
My biggest complaint about that match is, do we really need a 3-time champion for a belt that's barely a year and a half old?
Yeah.
That's my biggest issue with that match.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't care if AJ Lee became a 3-time champion, if Bayley. Doesn't matter to me who it was. It's not that it's a Becky issue, which a lot of people have that issue because Becky Hogan, much like Rhea. But did we really need a 3-time Intercontinental champion when the belt's barely a year and a half old?
You're right.
I think AJ should have retained, and then at Backlash, if they want to get it off her, have her lose it to Roxanne.
Oh, that would have been good.
Then you've got her passing it on to the future. Because if we're being honest, Becky doesn't need to be in the IC picture.
No.
It's doing more harm than good. Because it's one of the 4 horsewomen. And having somebody that's legitimately going to beat her, she's already beaten everybody.
Mm-hmm.
Like, unless she's going to lose it to Sol Ruca in her first, defense, what are we doing?
Mm-hmm.
Nick, I saw you were going to speak before Ash said something. Go ahead.
I agree with everything. No, I agree with what you're saying. I think if you see the way WWE is going, they're really, it's not about the stars of the future. It's actually about the stars of the past. So, I mean, like, I wouldn't be surprised if I see Paige, when Paige and Brie drop the tag titles, her go after the IC title. Like, I feel like, I don't know, that's the way I see it. What else was I going to say? I forgot what I was going to say. Squirrel. I don't know. I forgot what I was going to say. Fucking hell. Night one WrestleMania. It wasn't. I don't know. I just think. Oh, this is what I was gonna say. We're calling for less commercials and giving more time to matches. I think really the WWE thing that they would do in that situation is, yeah, okay, we'll cut down. We'll give more matches more time, but instead of 5 match cards, it's gonna be 4 match cards. I feel like it's all about the business side of it. They want to put those ads out there. So they'll probably be like, yeah, okay, well, you want more time. They won't see a problem with taking ads out. Their first inclination will be, oh, you want more matches, matches have more time? Okay. Then we're just going to give you 4 match cards. And that is going to be a shit show.
Probably so. All right. My only problem with Pat is that he couldn't count faster. Why did he have to count so slow? Because he's a heel? I don't know. I've missed the main event, so I'm not sure what you're referring to there.
Yeah.
That would be that would be my first reaction, is because he's a heel. He's supposed to count slow.
No, you'd figure he wanted to count fast because he's a heel. But he's actually counting
Okay,
slow.
so it was a pinfall for Randy then.
Yeah. It was a pinfall for Randy.
Then yeah, he would have wanted to quick count.
Exactly.
But if it was a count for Cody, then it would have been slow. So again, no frame of reference and no specification on who was getting the pin there. Hence my answer being what it was.
I think she's just trying to make a joke about like how Pat McAfee didn't count fast enough so that way Orton would become champion and Cody wouldn't retain.
And that's fair too, because we all know how much she loves Randy.
And then hearing about everything coming out after and how Pat put that main event made no sense. So it honestly, I said it on a couple streams. You know, for me, the night one was shit. Night 2 was okay. I mean, if you encompass all of it as a whole event, it didn't hit, and it's not something that it didn't make me want to watch Raw or SmackDown. So, I mean.
And that's fair enough. I mean, to each their own. Okay, so she's specified there for me. Randy had Cody pinned and Pat counted so slow.
Yep. I got you, Arlene. I got your joke.
But, yeah, I'm going to watch regardless as long as I'm home to watch. You know, that's basically been my MO lately. I'm not going to rush to watch to get home to watch it. If I miss it, the odds of me going back and rewatching it are slim. But if I'm home and it's on, I'm a watch. And that goes for all brands. Mm-hmm. You know, because I'm not that guy. You know, I freaking subscribe to TNA Plus so I can watch Impact, and half the time I forget that I have TNA Plus so I can watch Impact. You know, so, but I always remember when it comes time for the pay-per-views.
Yeah, I'm the same way. I rarely watch the weekly shows, but when it comes for pay-per-views, I'll be watching. And for it's like on the weekly shows, I'll just watch whatever I am interested in and whichever my favorites are, and that's what I seek out. It's very rare I'll watch a whole episode.
What's going to be interesting is June 28th. Because that's Forbidden Door and Slammiversary.
Oh, yes.
And it's my birthday.
Oh, nice.
Yes, Walter, we know. Yes. Good boy. But that's 2 big pay-per-views. Mm-hmm. Not B-level or C-level. Those are 2 A-level pay-per-views. Mm-hmm. One prime commentator is probably going to be at Forbidden Door celebrating his birthday. There's talks about me going up to San Jose for Forbidden Door to help celebrate his birthday. So there's 2 commentators already gone. You know, not going to put on the air, but everyone in this room kind of knows some of the behind the scenes stuff where we may not have some other commentators. So that just leaves Noah and like you 2. Mm-hmm. So trying to do 2 A-level pay-per-views with this few people is going to be interesting to see how we pull it off. But I think we can do it.
Mm-hmm. If we can find people to get Slammiversary, because chances are Nick myself, and Noah would probably just swing through the forbidden door.
We can do it.
Because I don't want to be that person, because I don't mind TNA. I loved watching TNA. I used to watch TNA. Slammiversary was one of my favorite pay-per-views. I think I watched last year or the year before, because I was bored and there's nothing else on to watch. So I popped on Slammiversary and I enjoyed it. Was it enough for me to watch Impact? No, but I was entertained by what I watched.
Yeah.
So I give credit where credit's due. If a brand I don't particularly care for has a show and I'm interested in, I'll give it a shot. And I was entertained for what it was.
And really quickly before we sign off, getting back to the releases thing, most of the people released ain't going to be cleared to show up at Double or Nothing. Ain't going to be cleared to show up at Forbidden Door. So stop it, everybody. I don't want to hear it.
I think
July 23rd, which is a Thursday, is 90 days. So the soonest these people could be brought in, as far as a big stage, would either be Lockdown or All In. So let's just keep that in mind when we start fantasy booking. Oh, so-and-so's having an open challenge. It's going to be X. Is the 90 days over? Stop it. Let's not work ourselves into a frenzy over stuff that can't be.
But I will say, when did you say that the challenge would be released? July 23rd?
July 23rd would be 90 days, which is a Thursday.
July 29th. And this one I can see happening. So July 29th, Dynamite will be taking place in Detroit, Michigan.
I hate you, Nick. I hate you. Why'd you put that thought in my head? I hate you. Fuck off, Nick. Fuck off. Kindly. Fuck off. I know where you're going, you motherfucker.
Yeah, I know where you're going to, because that is a possible, but that's not before the 23rd.
Yeah, it is.
No, that's after the 23rd.
Exactly. After the 23rd.
I said that's not before the 23rd.
Oh, no.
I'm basically talking about the people that are going to try to fantasy book for Double or Nothing and Forbidden Door and Slammiversary. That's what I'm talking about.
I'm already.
But July 29th in Detroit, Michigan, definitely makes sense for a couple of people to make their debut at that point. So
I mean,
I am going to be on watch now.
Look at Charles.
Asshole.
Wait, did he say AEW is in Detroit?
Yes.
Yeah, it's
Charles in
Michigan.
Yep.
Charles is in Detroit.
Hey.
So I think Charles is now going to go get tickets to that episode of Dynamite.
Yeah, just please have Buster in the Brain in the ring talking when you do this part.
Guys, stop! Stop it!
Dude, look, Ash is going to have to change her clothes before she goes to bed if you keep it up, okay?
You mean like I don't do that already?
Wow.
Wow.
Okay.
I didn't go
All
there.
right, everybody. So
That's a
thank you
note
guys
we
for
can leave
tuning
on.
out. Thank you for tuning in. We will see you guys next time. Have a good night.
Love you
We're gonna leave that
guys.
there.
Oh, Jesus.